All right. Good morning, everyone. It is almost. It's right at 10:30 in the morning on August 25th, 2021, and this is usually about the end of the most volume of the day. There is an afternoon session. However, I'm unfortunate. I don't get to trade the afternoon session very often. So this is pretty much the morning session, the first hour, roughly, first hour of the day. And I tend to not put trades on after 10:30 in the morning. It's got to be a really juicy opportunity, high probability setup in order for me to get into a trade after 10:30. Today I get to do a $1,148 recap. I traded RGC and LWAC, and they both really surprised. It certainly RGC surprised, and then LWAC. Let's just go over it. I did okay on LWAC. Let's go over LWAC first. So this morning, I got into LWAC. I got into the office at about 7:15. And I watched LWAC when I got in go up from basically 30 up to 35. And I was like, wow, this thing's really moving, And so I bought 100 shares of LWAC at $35. And of course, it didn't go at all like how I wanted it to go. It started to fall down. Let me clean up a little bit of this stuff here. So I bought right here at the top of this candle this morning, the pre-market action. That was me. It says high is $35.02, but I was in at $35.29. I don't know why it doesn't show my price. So it pulled back and it pulled back and it pulled back. I was like, okay, crap, this really, really sucks. So let me see. I bought another 100 shares. So it pulled back from 35 pre-market. All the way down here pre-market to $22.16, and I was disappointed to say the least. On those just that 100 shares, I was down $1,200. So it's like crap. Well, so I was like, okay. So the open this morning was at $25.68 pre-market here at 7:10 in the morning. So I bought another 100 shares at $25.68, and it just kept going down and down and down. And I was like, all right, look, this has got to stop somewhere, right? So I put a Fibonacci on it, and my Fibonacci, my Fibonacci this morning that I put on it was right here at the top at 3502, and so the 50% line. Between yesterday's close and this morning's high was at $22.14. And so pre-market here, I think I got filled, it says 22.16. I got filled pre-market at $22.14 on 200 shares. So by that point in time, I had averaged into 400 shares for a price of, I think it was around $26. Here, let me do the math. I'm going to pull the calculator up real quick. So let's see, 35.29 plus 25.68 equals, divided by 2. Yeah, that's about right. It was actually, I remember now, it was actually $30.52 for whatever reason. So I had 200 shares at $30.52. I'm going to just put 30.52 in there. And so then I managed to get in at with another 200 shares at $22.14 plus 2.14 equals, now divide that by 2. Yeah, $26. And then I was able to get into, so that's 400 shares at $26, an average of $26.33. And so then I managed to get into another 200 shares at so at the open right here, I was watching the open and it dipped down just below, it dipped down to a low here of, where's the low? $21.24. And so I clicked buy. I had a 2114. What did I? 22. I had 2214 in my platform, and I hit buy for 200 more shares at $22.14. So let's see if I do this. Let's see, 20 average. So yeah, okay. So plus 22.14. Let's see if I can do this math correctly and divide that by 2. So I remember I was in at an average of $24.91. So I didn't do the math correctly. So I was in at 24.91 on average. 24.91 on average, right? And fortunately, this thing decided to at this 50% Fibonacci, which is where, I mean, I was totally impatient. I got in the office this morning, and the fear of missing out was real. I still, fall into it. Fortunately, I only bought 100 shares here at the very top, and then, yeah, it would have been really strange for the stock to just completely flop right out of the gates. So, I was able to average out of it. That's not a great way. That's not a good way to trade, but you can get away with it sometimes. So it ran up, and here, this is the 10 minutes. Let me go to the 1 minute. In the opening 1 minute there, it went into a halt. So you can see down at the bottom there, there's 9:30 in the morning, and it went into a halt. It traded for about a minute and then went into a halt on the way up, which is really nice. It wasn't selling off. And so then on the next candle, it went up to as high as 28. I sold it I think I sold it at 25.30 something. So I made about 40 cents per share on the 600 shares. So, I was able to get out. I mean, I could have gotten out much more profitably, of course. But after going negative, and I think at the low, I was down like close to $2,000 on the 600 shares. Let's see, at 20, I was down close to $1,500 altogether, and so then it went up for me, thank goodness, and I just let it go and got out, fortunately with a profit. So, learning lesson again, like I needed to learn this lesson again. I really don't, actually. I've been doing this long enough to know better. And that is, wait until the opening, really. Unless, there's a really obvious setup in the pre-market. And this is not. This right here, this big run, this big candle up right here, that's not an obvious setup. That's just a big run up. There's nothing to trade against there. So I really didn't trade very disciplined on this stock until it came into waiting for it to pull back far enough to average into a better position. So, okay, it is what it is. I was able to make about $240 on it. Then RGC, now this is one that I did get into pre-market, and I definitely let it go early. I bought 300 shares as it dipped down below $19.16. I think I was in this stock at an average. In fact, I put pre-market orders in when it came up to this high right here at $23.95. I was like, okay, so let's see if this thing pulls back pre-market to one of these support levels. So let me pull up the daily here, and let me hide a couple of these so that kind of see what's going on here. So I came in this morning, and this thing was popping up. Let's look at the pre-market. That's the daily. It was up on the scanner, and I think it was up around here at around when I got in this morning. Oh, here we go. When I got in this morning, it had made this. Geez, where is it? You can't see it on the 10-minute. Let's see if I can see it on the 1 minute. Here it is. 9/11, 8:34. It's kind of strange. Well, so the chart isn't showing the correct price activity. But essentially, when I got in this morning, this stock was around $20 or so when I first got in this morning, and it started to pull back. And I was looking at the daily, and I was like, okay, well, if this thing's going to gap up, if it's going to decide to gap up, it was only on the technicals, and it's going to be, higher than 1930 or so. I put an order to buy right around, it should be there it is, $19.16. So I put in 100 shares at 19.25, 100 shares at 19.15, and 100 shares at 19.05, and I got filled in the pre-market. It doesn't really show it here, and I don't know why it's not showing it. It's strange. Well, so I got filled in the pre-market for an average of 300 shares at $19.15, and it started running up pre-market, and it ran up. Let's see, I made a decent amount of money on this one. RGC 300 shares, and I made about $4. Yeah, for $23.10 is where I let it go. And so it started hitting this area in here pre-market. So this is the post-market activity from yesterday. And I kind of just was like, I don't see this thing making it much past, it's yesterday's post-market activity. And so I let it go at $23.10, which is nice. I made, roughly $4 a share. But then look at this thing. It really, I was in at 19.15 per share. This thing went to as high as $39. I mean, almost a $20 move from where I entered, which on 300 shares would have been $6,000. That would have been a lot nicer than, I made roughly 1,200 on it, But hey, I made 1,200 on it, so it is what it is. I get to be happy with it, I can be happy with an $1,100 day. Of course, seeing, more in line of what it could have been. I could have upped my share size or a whole bunch of things that I could have done. But, all in all, I get to be happy with an $1,100 day. So, and then that's all I traded today. The U's, I don't really know what's going on with this thing. But it, it's whatever it's doing, I don't know. Didn't trade it. JWN, now this is interesting. So JWN, I put this line on it. This laser light show that you're seeing with all these green lines and red lines and stuff, that's from a previous way that I used to do charting. And it's actually not bad for swing trades. It's actually, the marking off all these support lines and trend lines and stuff actually does do a pretty good job for gauging when to get into a swing trade. But essentially, what I'm seeing here is I put in today, I put this line in at $30.75. There's a little bit of a double bottom in that area right there. So there's probably, if it makes it down to $30.75, there's probably going to be support at $30.75 today. I don't know. It could just plunge right through it too, though. I don't know if it goes down there. I mean, volume is heavy. Oh yeah, and something else too that was a little bit spooky. LWAC and RGC are trading volume is pretty light, and when trading volume is light, it can make for some pretty drastic moves to the upside and the downside. On momentum trades, the downside tends to be quite a bit more painful on momentum trades than the upside is. RGC is doing a pretty good job of holding up here, though. LWAC, and so let's see, what would usually be, so like for example on LWAC, volume today is only, I say only, but it's at 4.5 million shares. I would expect something like this to have like easily a lot more like 20 million, 30 million shares traded. And same thing with RGC. RGC this morning, it has 6.6 million shares traded, and I would have expected RGC for this kind of price action. I would have expected RGC to have more like 40, 50 million shares traded today. But, you know, that's I guess what's kind of going on right now. JWN, let's see what the volume is here on, it says it's 15 million shares right now on JWN. It's getting sold off pretty hard. That's a tall, this is a tall sell candle, tall red candle here. Let's see, we've got a green candle back here on earnings for 37 million shares. So in recent history, you know, it sticks out. There's a lot of selling going on here. It's approaching $30.75. Let's see if it hits it while I'm doing this recap. I imagine there'll probably be a bounce at 30.75. There's probably a trade there, but I think it's probably just gonna be a quick trade. My gut tells me that this thing's gonna end the day even lower than 30.75. But that's my gut. You know, that's why I don't trade with my gut. I trade with the technicals. All right, FTCV, it's just done nothing. It opened and has not moved. DIX, now this is this is one that I missed out on. So this morning at the open right here, you can see the opening price is at I think that's 131, let's see, 130.96. Dipped down, didn't quite get to the next Fibonacci level, and then came back up and then moved higher. And then dipped down for another test of the open, and this right here, this retest of the open, that was an entry. This spot right here was an entry, and then moved higher by about $4 right there. So I missed that entry. I saw it happen, but I think I was sitting on my hands. Yeah, I was waiting for LWAC to open back up again, and I needed to be fast on LWAC in order to be able to get out profitably. I knew that I would want to be fast on that, and if I was distracting myself with JW or with DIX while LWAC opened up and did its thing, then it was more likely that I would lose more money on LWAC than I would make on DIX. So I didn't get into DIX. It would have been a nice trade though. I mean, that's, you know, we'll call it 131 up to 134, $3 move. I probably would have been able to catch, you know, a significant amount of that move right there. So then I was keeping an eye on it for its morning high, and actually what we have on this is almost a cup and handle, but not quite. It's kind of a broken cup and handle here. So in the morning time, here's the top of I'll just draw it here. Oop, I don't know. Let's see. Let's make that. I can make it a different color so it's easier to see. Yellow is a little bit easier to see. Red, not really. Orange, kind of. White, yeah, white's easier to see. And so the break of 134.40, I didn't trust it. The break of 133.78 may have been worth a trade there for this break of the morning high the second time, but it wasn't a high probability. It's not neither one of those are high probability trades really. So it's just kind of like I don't really see it. There's just no really good trade there. After, you know, the good trade was to enter at the open here for the move up. That was the good trade. After that, this is just kind of I don't want to call it Brownian motion, but you can see it was pushing to break through. If I were to trade this, I would have been looking for it to break through, come back, test, and then continue to move higher. It couldn't hold above that price, so it just there wasn't really a trade there. It looks like it's trying to hang around the open right now. You know, I think it's probably going to go lower. It's had a good run as far as trading goes. Maybe in the afternoon there'll be some traders who want to, or some investor types who want to pick it up in the afternoon. But I imagine anybody who wants to buy DICS, which I think it's probably a pretty safe investment. I mean, this is just my opinion, but you'll want to pull it. I imagine people will want to buy it closer to the bottom of the gap, let it pull back a bit, and then let people take their profits and then jump into it after it pulls back a little bit. So then the broader market here. So the SPY is still climbing. I think it may have made an intraday new high. Let's see, high 448.51 intraday. No, so it just missed. It missed the SPY missed an intraday high by 3 cents today. So it'll probably, imagine it'll probably make it there. Although we've got the VIX right now in the 1 minute and the 10 minute. Looks like it's trying to bottom. See its relative strength over here. Relative strength right here looks like it might be trying to bottom out, although this could be a bear flag as well. It's hard to tell, really. And so there might be a push higher today. This thing, it's breaking down. The VIX is breaking down. The fear index is breaking down. I'd like to see another test of this 1821 and failure again after this spike up before I get really interested in getting along the SPY again. Bitcoin's making a nice run this morning, catching some support. This looks like a buy the dip opportunity. So let's see. A couple of small things. So Sino is a miner, just miner exclusively. And InvestView, I've forgotten exactly what they do. They're somewhat of a derivative. Coinbase, it's definitely one of the exchanges, one of the coin exchanges, the crypto exchange. Interesting looking chart here. 250 was its IPO price. Technically, actually, its IPO price had opened at 381, I believe, but it was originally intended that Coinbase would open up at 250. So it looks like Coinbase is eking out a bottom here. It had a pretty good earnings. Yeah, it did have a good earnings report there. So, yeah, it's crypto. And I kind of think that's about it for the day. All right, everybody. Good luck out there. Keep your wrists tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Tap the bell, and I will see you at tomorrow morning's strategy session. I am out.